Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you proudly by Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Barton Power Sports, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Best Care Home Services.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on this October the 13th. And Ron Wong is on the other line hanging in with us as he's on the road and may join us in studio in a little while. And Ron's been a busy man, and but I thought it was really neat that it just worked out like this. I try to be organized and planned, but today is opening day for the shotgun archery turkey season. The fall turkey season starts today and runs through October the 26th. So all you folks out there, this is the day to get out there. But there is a change. You can't shoot those females anymore. They've switched it back. There you go. That's what I wanted. There you go. Oh, there they go. That's the man with the mouth of the South. I mean, I don't mean that as a derogatory, but hey, there you go. But good friend of Ron and myself and Mike Giles out of Meridian, Mississippi. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. How y'all are?
Hey, man, we're doing great. The weather has finally turned. We're getting some cool weather. And I know my friends that are going to be out there with their shotgun are more likely because this is that time. But
yeah.
I don't know. Does Mississippi have a fall season? They don't, do they?
It's very limited, but I do love to do some fall hunting and have done some out west.
Yeah, well, yeah. But I'm telling you, fall hunting is so much different than the spring. I mean,
that's right.
I mean, you got to be in the right place at the right time. Okay, I mean
that's exactly right.
When they bunch up and they come in, and you got 13 gobblers all by themselves. They're having a bachelor party, and right now they really don't have that other word sex on their mind now. I mean,
that's right.
It's mostly about feeding. Well, I got on my mind right now, and I'm looking at this gobbler. Oh, he's a nice looking one there. Yeah, right on the cover of the Old Pro Turkey Hunter, which is by the legendary Gene Nunnery, and we have a new forward by some guy named Michael Giles. And
that's correct.
And tell our listeners a little bit about this, Mike, because this is really a cool thing. I don't know how many copies went out when Gene Nunnery was alive, 1911 and 1992, 81 years old. I never had a chance to meet Mr. Nunnery, but I met him through his book and his knowledge of turkey hunting, and I think I've got one of the originals back there. But tell us why you did this and how this evolved. That you come back out with the book, and you've written the foreword, and that had to be an honor itself. But tell us about this book.
Yes, and one other thing, Larry, that picture on the cover is one I took about 4 years ago.
Really? Oh, well, that means what is he tied up to? I see something around his ankle here where he's tied up to a tree, it looks like. So, no. Beautiful.
Well, he posed.
He posed
just for about 10 seconds.
That's all you needed, right? Yeah.
That's right. And, it's kind of like hunting in the woods. You see all these pictures of turkeys out in the fields and strutting, and this one's in the woods. And, ironically, it was very similar to the original print that was on the cover of the Old Pro Turkey Hunter.
Really?
And that book was printed one time in 1980.
Okay.
It was so good and so well received, it was also picked up by Outdoor Life that year and had another printing.
Well,
now,
it's
fast forward,
yeah.
About 30-something years later, and I read that book 2 or 3 times. It's the only book I have ever read. I did get one from Mr. Nunnery, the original book I probably got mine in 1981.
Okay.
He died in 91.
Right.
But ever so often, and it's told in the old storytelling fashion, he's not telling you how to, where to.
Oh, no, it's a story.
New formats.
Yeah.
And so what he does, he learned how to turkey hunt in a time when there were few turkey hunters and even fewer turkeys.
Yeah.
So he tells you some of the tales and some of the techniques he got from the old pros in his days. And every 3 or 4 years, I would write in the paper about the old pro. He believed in doing it the right way. Now, I'm not getting down on any of the outdoor companies that provide all kind of great products, but Mr. Gene believed in doing it the right way.
Yes.
No bait. number one.
Yes.
He also said if you want to meet that turkey on its own terms, one-on-one, no bait, no blinds, no decoys, you have done something. If you call him up and you harvest him, because they are strictly on instinct. That's the way they live, and they hear you. You call them up and you spook them.
Yeah.
If they see something move,
yes.
and it's not another turkey, they're gone. Now we're speaking of gobblers here.
Well, that's he reminds me a lot of my good friend Robert Cliff,
yes.
the last call up here in Bolivar, and Mr. Cliff always believed in this, and he has mentioned the old pro to me several times.
Yes.
That turkey hunting, they sound like a lot of us sound like panhandlers going into the woods with everything that we've got. I can't imagine Gene Nunnery going in the woods with all these gadgets that we got nowadays.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I mean,
Mr. Nunnery, he made his own mouth call. He was the first person I ever knew of that made a mouth call.
He did?
Yes, he made a mouth call, and it was an old horseshoe-shaped thing, and it had a piece of thick rubber in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And he put it on with brads. It didn't have tape like all the ones now are made out of some tape.
Uh-huh.
That thing fit his mouth just right, and he would put that thing in there, and every once in a while he would use one of these trumpets. He would carry a trumpet with him as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I didn't know, just reading that, and Ron might be interested, that he actually made some he was tying flies,
right.
too.
That's right. And
I didn't realize his fishing was part of his life, too. That's
right.
And
he was also somewhat of an amateur archaeologist. He was real big on. He did a lot of going out in the outdoors and going up down these streams when he wasn't turkey hunting. He found he just had a whole collection of arrowheads and Indian paraphernalia that he found at campsites and places all over East Mississippi and West Alabama. So he was a son of the southern soil who believed in he just had an affinity for the dirt, the soil, and the people that came before us.
Well, how did you get to do this? The relationship here for you to write the foreword on this book? So it hasn't been printed since the early '80s, right?
That's right.
So we're talking,
yeah.
So we're talking about a lot of years ago. So tell our listeners how you got to do you got 2 minutes to tell our listeners how you did the forward and how the book worked out, and then of course we want to know how to get in touch, how you get it, because folks, this is if you're looking for a great present for Christmas or whatever it is, it's a great read. It's easy to read, great thing. So go ahead, tell us.
The long story short is, I told you every 3 or 4 or 5 years I would write in the newspaper, and I would tell about doing it Mr. Gene's way. I was concerned with a lot of people baiting turkeys and young people not knowing how to do it. And I know feeding corn to turkeys is like shooting chickens. If you do it the right way, it's real challenging.
Yes.
So one of the business associates of one of Mr. Nunnery's daughters kept reading me, and finally he kept saying, hey, y'all need to reprint that book. And I know just the man to do it for you, Mike Giles. He writes all that stuff about Mr. Nunnery. And he took several magazine articles, several newspaper articles, went to University Press in Jackson, Mississippi, and lo and behold, they said, we want to print it.
Wow. And folks, it's like I say, you need to get a copy. So tell our listeners out there, how do they get a copy of the Old Pro Turkey Hunter?
You call Michael Giles, 601-917-3898. You can go on Facebook and see me at Michael O. Giles. But you can call, text me. You can Google the Old Pro Turkey Hunter, but if you want a signed copy by the man that's got the new cover and the forward, then you contact me. You can buy them at different places around, but if you want to get a tie to the man himself, you need to call 601-917-3898.
All right, we're going to post that on lroutdoors.com.
And I have an email.
Yeah, and give them that email address.
Mike Giles 18 at Comcast.net.
There you
That's
go.
MikeGiles 18 at Comcast.net.
Can you email me that information so I can keep it here with me, Mike? And also, any way you can email me a picture of the cover, because
Yes.
that I can use too. But again,
I'll do
folks,
that.
that's Mike Giles, the old pro turkey hunter, and I can't think of a better way to end this segment than a little music from Mike. Do it, Mike. Golly, that sounds just like Ron Wong on a Saturday morning sometimes. I'm telling you what. Thank you, Mike. We'll talk
Thank
to you
you,
down
man.
the road. Appreciate you.
Y'all call me.
All right,
Thanks.
we'll do. Bye-bye. Mike Giles. All right, let's take a break. He does that all with his mouth. He doesn't have a call in his mouth. He makes that noise like that. I know he drives him nuts at the newspaper where he works when he's sitting there humming. All right, be right back.